Hi, my name is Mia and my video will be focusing on the concept of common fraction numeration and operations. The basic concept of fraction is understanding that one whole is broken down into equal parts and each part represents a fraction in relation to the original part. Fraction ideas need to be taught using materials that are broken into parts representing one whole. This scaffolds the students' learning on developing the concept of fractions as well as fractions language. Fractions must be taught through visual activities and region models that represent forming and shading parts. The sequence for developing the initial concept of fraction involves identifying one whole, partitioning one whole into equal-sized parts, naming the number of equal-sized parts, and lastly, naming the number of equal-sized parts in relation to the original one whole, thus naming the fraction. According to Buka et al. 2004, the rectangular region has proven to be the most effective means of establishing the fraction concept. However, to consolidate the fraction concept, once the rectangular model has been internalized, children may be asked to recognize or shade representations based on different regions. The learning intention of the online resource is to design a park by applying fractions concept as well as recognizing that fractions are numbers that can be represented in different ways. The task requires students to be familiar with basic fraction concept as well as being able to identify the number of shaded parts and the number of equal parts in a shape, as well as being able to recognize, find and write unit fractions. The online resource is designed for grade 3 and 4 students, and the main focus of the activity is using a rectangular region model to demonstrate the park is divided into equal parts, measuring fractions on a number line, using different fractions to complete a one whole, and using appropriate fraction language throughout the activity. The online resource is called Park Fractions from Scoodle. The aim of this activity is designing a park using fractions concept. Verbal and written instructions are provided throughout the activity. The game demonstrates fractions in different formats using fraction symbols, number line, and a rectangular region model. The activity demonstrates equal fractions. For example, 1/2 of the park equals 4/8 of the whole area. Upon the completion of highlighting the park fractions, students at higher levels can begin to explore the concept of adding fractions. This is a great activity that incorporates forming and shading parts on a rectangular region model. A times tables has also been provided to further assist the students in designing their park grid. Learning takes place once the students form a connection with context through experiences that are relevant to their lives, interests, prior knowledge, and skills. Freer demands teachers to provide stimulating experiences for students to become critical thinkers and be able to take on questioning, inquiring, and proposing solutions to solve the problem utilizing various verbal, written, and cognitive strategies. According to Victorian curriculum, Level 3 is model and represent unit fractions including 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, and their multiples to a complete whole. The learning intention of the online resource links directly to partitioning areas and locating unit fractions on a number line. Some of the advantages of the online resource are that it meets the learning intentions, it uses appropriate fraction language, it provides real-life situations for students to be able to form a connection with and become critical thinkers to be able to solve the problem. The activity can be further extended to the concept of addition of fractions. It provides a printout option for students to print their work for the following lessons or work on the areas of difficulties. The activity can be done independently or as a group, and the online resource addresses the common misconception of using circular regions as the mainstay of fraction teaching. Instead, it utilizes a rectangular grid as the basis area of the park. Some of the main limitations of the online resource are that the activity requires the students to have prior knowledge and skills of the fraction concept. No real differentiation has been considered throughout the activity, as the online resource provides one main level for all different learning needs. Other activities must be planned to offer better differentiation, and a teacher must be present to further assist in areas of difficulties, as some of the instructions are repeated and no further explanations are provided.